Welcome. Today we're stepping into the shadows, into stories that, well, they linger long after you hear them. We're talking about encounters with something known as a skinwalker. And these aren't campfire tales we're pulling from thin air. These are real accounts, experiences that shook people, made them question what's real and what isn't.
Exactly. We're looking at accounts that touch on the unsettling, the unknown, exploring that deep fear and confusion when someone...
It definitely sets a chilling scene. Okay, let's get into the first account. This one starts quiet, almost ordinary. A young boy, home in the Gulf of Mexico. He's up late, playing Super Mario RPG on his SNES. Classic setup.
Bedrooms are on opposite sides of the living room, front door right there. He nods off playing, but then suddenly he wakes up. He hears his dad calling him from the living room. But all the lights are off, pitch black. He calls out, "Dad!" And the voice answers, calls his name again.
And right away you see that instinct. Hear your dad's voice, especially when you're young, half asleep. You trust it. You assume he needs something. It's that core trust these things seem to exploit.
Totally. So he gets up, goes to the living room. It's empty. Just a little light from a street lamp outside. He calls out again, "Dad!" A bit confused now. This time the voice answers from outside, beyond the front door. He walks towards it, feeling kind of compelled, like he has to help. The voice calls again, then a third time. Still sounds friendly, but urgent. More urgent now. He gets right up to the door, hand reaching for the knob. But then this feeling washes over him, like a really strong sense that something's off, wrong. He realizes he's wide awake now. This isn't a dream. He calls out, "Dad," one last time, doubt creeping in. And that's when the voice changes. Still sounds like his dad, but it's harsh, stern. It just demands, "Get out here now." He freezes and starts reaching for the lock, feeling that pit in his stomach like he's in major trouble. But just as his fingers brush the metal, a voice right behind him makes him nearly jump out of his skin. "Son, what are you doing?" It's his mom. He turns, stammers something like, "Dad's outside calling me." And she just says quietly, but it hits him like ice water. Dad's in the bedroom asleep.
Wow. Yeah, that moment. The mother's words just shatter everything. What seemed maybe confusing or like a parent being angry suddenly becomes horrifying. That fear he describes, that complete emotional drain. It's the trauma of having your most basic sense of safety just violated. And that mimicry tactic is terrifyingly common in these stories, preying on trust.
He said the memory stayed crystal clear for over 20 years, just absolutely certain it happened. Okay, let's shift gears. A different setting, out in the wilderness. This comes from a guy who went camping with friends a few years back. One of his friends was Navajo. First night, totally normal, beautiful. Second night, though, around 1:10 a.m., one of them wakes up, needs to pee. He steps away from the tents, does his business. As he turns back, he sees it. Across the clearing, a deer, but it wasn't on all fours. It was walking on its hind legs, bipedal, just strolling across the field like a person, almost casual.
And that bipedal movement, that's a huge red flag in many traditional warnings about these entities. It instantly signals this is something unnatural, a deliberate twisting of the natural order meant to disorient, frighten.
Yeah, he was clearly not just standing up, but strolling, like it was going somewhere specific. Then it turns its head, looks right at him, locks eyes. He just froze. So they stared at each other for what felt like forever, this thing towering over him. Finally breaks out of it, starts yelling for his friends. As he's shouting, the deer thing bolts into the trees, still on two legs, and it lets out this horrific screech. He described it like a little girl's cry, but corrupted, distorted, like static over a voice. His friends stumble out, they heard the screech too, so he knew he wasn't imagining that part. When he tells them what he saw the deer walking like a man, his Navajo friend goes white as a sheet. Immediately says, "We need to go. Now, pack up, get to the truck." He starts explaining more about skinwalkers, saying once you've seen one, you don't want to hang around. Said something like, "They'll come back for you, and they might not come back alone." The way he said it, everyone knew he was dead serious.
And that immediate recognition from the Navajo friend is really telling, isn't it? No disbelief, just urgent action based on cultural knowledge. It shows how this isn't just seen as folklore, but as, well, a real potential danger with specific warnings.
So they're packing up, totally freaked out, get to the truck, and there's a dog standing there. Near the truck. Given everything, they're super wary. The dog's facing the truck, doesn't seem to notice them at first, but when it hears them, its whole body just goes rigid. It turns its head slowly, then its body, stare at them.
Yeah.
And its face, he said, it was disturbingly human-like. Huge eyes, not normal dog eyes, but with big white parts and colored irises. Wide, defensive-looking, and its face was just stuck in a snarl. Didn't bark, didn't move towards them, just backed up slowly, turned, and sort of scurried off. They jump in the truck, peel out of there. Then in the car, the Navajo friend asks, his voice low and chilling, "Did you guys notice it didn't have a tail?"
Another key detail.
Exactly. He explained that's another sign. They drove straight to his parents' place. His dad heard the story, performed some kind of ritual, no questions asked. Next morning, his parents gave them these small totem-like things for protection. The narrator said, whatever they were, they seem to have worked. He hasn't had issues since.
Right, so you have the bipedal movement, the corrupted voice, the tailless dog. These specific recurring identifiers, they build a picture that aligns directly with the traditional warnings. It suggests something specific is being encountered, not just random weirdness, and the community response confirms that.
Okay, let's go back in time a bit to the 1980s. Chusa Mountains, a family reunion. A 6-year-old girl named Sandra is in a cabin with other kids trying to sleep. She just feels uneasy, can't settle down. Then she hears that something big, heavy, moving on the wooden porch outside. Her eyes shoot to the window. She sees this large black shadow move past. It's heading right for the cabin door, which they realize later was unlocked. She's frozen, too scared to make a sound, watches the doorknob rattle back and forth. Then, slowly the door starts to creak open, and the smell hits the room. Just awful, putrid, horrific. She'd never smelled anything like it. And then through the opening door, she sees a large human hand reaching in.
That combination is potent. The sound, the shadow, then the smell, that specific putrid stench comes up often, and then the visual of a human hand. It immediately rules out a normal animal. That's what makes it so deeply unsettling. It's humanoid, but wrong.
Sandra finally screams, just lets out this blood-curdling shriek for her dad. He bursts in, sees the hand, yells for his brother to grab the rifle, whatever it was, pulls back, runs off the porch. It was a full moon, so the yard was lit up pretty well. They see this thing sprinting across the yard. Her dad's brother looks through the scope, spots it crouching behind a stone well. Dad's first thought, maybe a bear. He tells his brother, take the shot. He fires. But instead of a thud, they hear this sharp clang. The bullet ricocheted off the well. Any idea of it being a bear just vanished. Then the creature stands up. On 2 feet, huge figure in the moonlight, and just runs, bolts towards the tree line and disappears. Never saw again.
The bullet ricocheting, that adds another layer, doesn't it? Suggests something not quite physical in the way we understand it or unnaturally tough. It reinforces that feeling of dealing with something outside normal rules, something conventional weapons might not affect, deepens the helplessness.
Truly unnerving. Okay, another account, this one from Maine. Deep woods. Just 2 years ago. An 18-year-old guy, alone at the family camp at night. Everyone else is asleep. He needs to take the dogs out. He's got his brother's 2 pit bulls, pretty tough dogs, and his own little dog, an Affenpinscher named Alfie. Takes them out. He mentions how incredibly dark it gets in the Maine woods. The porch light barely cuts through it. He's watching the dogs and notices the pit bulls are just staring, stock still, laser-focused into the woods, that absolute blackness. That's when he realizes Alfie, his little black dog, is gone, vanished into the dark. He calls her name. Then he hears this soft, whimpering sound coming from the exact direction the pit bulls are staring. He takes a couple of steps towards it, calling Alfie, worried she's hurt or stuck.
And again, notice the animals reacting first. Their senses picking up something the human hasn't yet. It's a recurring theme, that animal intuition as an early warning.
Definitely. So he takes another step and suddenly feels something brush right past his legs, behind him. He spins around, looks down, and there's Alfie. She'd been right there, near him the whole time. Totally silent, unseen in the dark. And that hits him like a ton of bricks. If Alfie's here, the bull's making that whimpering sound out there in the woods. He hesitates, and the pit bulls start to growl. Low, serious growls. They slowly move forward, positioning themselves, flanking him, still staring into the darkness. He decides, okay, time to go back inside now. As he turns to head back to the cabin, he hears it. He said it was the most bone-chilling sound of his life. From out in the woods, something calls Alfie's name. Alfie! It sounded like it was trying to copy his voice, but it was wrong. Distorted, kind of drawn out, wailing almost, unnatural. He just panicked, grabbed Alfie, yelled for the pit bulls, and ran inside, slamming the door, terrified that something was out there mimicking him, calling his dog.
Yeah, it connects right back to that first story, doesn't it? The mimicry. But this time, using the pet's name, trying to mimic the owner's voice. It's that same tactic, lure you out, play on your concern, your connection. But twisted, distorted, it's psychological manipulation and deeply disturbing.
It really is a terrifying pattern.
Okay,
our last account for today. This one takes place in Shiprock, New Mexico, just last October. The narrator is visiting his Navajo grandparents. He admits he was pretty skeptical about skinwalkers, even though his own mom had told him a story from the 80s about seeing a black dog with twisted legs and weird glowing eyes. He just didn't buy it. Until this night, they get back late from a fair. He decides to just ask his grandma, point blank, hey, are skinwalkers real? Her reaction wasn't calm. She basically yelled at him, really disturbed. You should be speaking about that. He dropped it immediately. Later, everyone's asleep in the old trailer. Windows open, just screens.
He can't sleep. As he's finally drifting off, he hears a noise outside. Gets up, looks out the kitchen window. Only light is the porch light. Doesn't see anything at first. Then he hears this scream, distorted and way too close.
And that reaction from the grandmother, it really underscores the cultural weight. It's not just a story. Speaking the name, asking about them is seen as dangerous, inviting trouble. It signals a deep-seated belief in fear.
He looks out again. And there it is, just beyond the porch light, behind the cars, a figure like a coyote, but wrong. Gray, messy, disheveled hair, and its eyes. Horrific orange-red eyes that seem to glow. He immediately smells it too, that awful rotting meat stench. Sickening. He runs to wake up his mom. She's groggy, annoyed. "It's just a stray," she says. "It's the res. Animals are around." He yells back, "Ma, something out of a horror movie is out there." That gets her up. Then they both hear it, more horrible screams, sounds of thrashing. They look out again. The coyote thing is moving towards the front door now. It's walking weirdly, dragging its back right leg. A distinct limp. Then they hear scratching on the front door. These weird, muffled moaning sounds.
The details are just piling up. The glowing eyes, the specific description of the hair, the limp, that signature stench. These aren't vague shapes in the dark. They're specific, often recurring traits that solidify in the witness's mind what they're facing, especially within that cultural context.
His mom wakes his dad. They both start yelling in Navajo, fast, urgent words telling it to leave, that it's not welcome. The noise wakes everyone else. His grandmother just points at the door, face full of fear, and says one word, "Skinwalker." And they knew what they had to do. His grandfather grabs a handgun and a little bag of ashes. He quickly rubs ash onto a few bullets, loads the gun, goes to the door, still yelling in Navajo, too fast for the narrator to understand. He throws the door open, fires twice into the darkness. Nothing hits. The thing was gone, vanished. The whole family was terrified afterward, thinking it would come back, that they were targeted now. They had a medicine man come later to bless everyone, bless the property. For the narrator, any skepticism he had was just gone. Completely convinced after that night.
This account really encapsulates so much. The cultural fear, the specific disturbing physical details, the sounds, the smell, and importantly, the traditional defense methods. The ash-coated bullets, the blessing. These aren't random acts. They're part of a specific cultural response to a perceived specific threat. It shows this deep-rooted understanding, this clash between their world and something terrifyingly other.
Looking back at these 5 accounts, these experiences people shared, you really see those chilling threads connecting them, don't you? That awful mimicry of voices, a father, a dog's whimper, an owner's call trying to lure people out, the way these things move, walking bipedally when they shouldn't. The physical forms, sometimes animal-like but wrong, sometimes glimpses of the human-like, like that hand, those eyes, that unmistakable putrid smell, and just the sheer paralyzing fear they generate. These aren't just stories meant to scare, they're memories seared into people, experiences that defy easy answers.
Absolutely. And whether you view these through the lens of folklore, psychology, or as literal encounters, they tap into something primal, that fear of the unknown, of forces that seem to ignore the rules we understand. They challenge our sense of reality, leaving behind this lingering unease, this question about what else might be out there, lurking just beyond what we can see or explain, what that means about the limits of our own understanding.
Well, thank you for joining us on this pretty chilling journey into these accounts. We hope they've given you something to think about, maybe consider the impact these encounters have on those who go through them. If these stories grabbed you and you're looking for more narratives that explore the mysterious and the spine-tingling, please do check out the Horror Docs channel. And hey, if you found this interesting, please give this story a like, maybe share it with someone else who appreciates these kinds of deep dives into the unsettling. And definitely subscribe to Horror Docs so you don't miss what we explore next. Until next time, stay safe out there. And remember, sometimes the most frightening tales are the ones people swear are true.